Yeah, I would say my goal, like my ultimate goal is to just like to uplift and just show more positive representation of like where I'm from, because I feel like there's just not a lot of like pictures or videos, or well, I just notice a lot of people asking me like where are you from, and then I'm just like, okay, let me just show everybody, because I don't think they see it often. So my name is Hidayah. um my age, I'm 22. One thing I'm excited for today is I got invited over to my friend's house, and her mom is going to be making tea, and we're just going to like talk and just kind of like, it's like a really nice like bonding moment with it, like amongst like women, just like talking and drinking tea. So I'm excited to just kind of relax,
Sweet. That's really, really cute. I love doing that with my friends. Just like a nice chill
just like
unwind
chill.
night.
Yeah.
Okay. What's a talent that you possess that you feel like not a lot of people know about?
Oh, okay. A talent. Um, hmm. I think something that a lot of people might not know is that I'm pretty good at making short films. So something I used to do in high school a lot, because we had a class and my teacher like told me that he thought I should like try to pursue it, but I was just too nervous. So just because there's like a lot in that field.
Yeah.
So, but that's something I feel like would be like a secret talent. I kind of like doing that a lot, and um he said I kind of had like a knack for like an eye for
Yeah.
like recording.
That's really cool. And so since you're not going to go down that like for your, future plans, what are you looking to do?
I'm looking to do civil engineering,
Nice.
something structural, construction, just because I want to build, like, I want to work long term wise. I want to work not just like here, but like outside and help like with nonprofits and like build, like, I would say things that kind of matter and that help the community. So like orphanages or hospitals. I really want to like hop on those types of projects.
Right. Have you ever done anything like that in the past, or is it something that you're kind of like looking to do?
I worked in construction this past summer.
Oh, wow.
But it was like projects that are just kind of like learning, like, just getting my foot in the door. But anything with nonprofits, I've only worked with like one nonprofit here in San Diego, and I'm hoping to like expand soon.
Nice. That's amazing. Okay. What is an accomplishment, personal project, or extracurricular activity that you're proud of working on?
Okay, I think one thing that I'm proud of is so I have a page where I post a lot of like my film when I travel back and forth. So I'm from Diridoa, and I like to take pictures or record stories from like my neighborhood and just kind of like post it on the page. And one thing I'm proud about is I would also like try to like support local businesses here. So we would like all get together and like go to restaurants and gather and just kind of like for that one day like support that one business and just try to like go to different restaurants and just like support those businesses.
Oh, that's so sweet. I had a question that went
No,
away.
it's okay. Like take your time.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
okay.
You mentioned that you're not from here. Did you
Yeah.
recently move here or?
Yeah, I moved here from the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But what was you said?
Oh, I'm from Diridoa. It's a city in Ethiopia, but it's
wow.
like there's a lot of Somalis, so I'm like ethnically Somali, and there's a lot of Somalis there. My dad is from there.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like we are like generationally there, but it's technically Ethiopia right now.
Do you visit often?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So that's really like, do you feel like the majority of your films are based on that or like more on the US?
Yeah, I would say my goal, like my ultimate goal is to just like to uplift and just show more positive representation of like where I'm from, because I feel like there's just not a lot of like pictures or videos, or well, I just notice a lot of people asking me like where are you from, and then I'm just like, okay, let me just show everybody, because I don't think they see it often.
That's such a like beautiful way to portray it, because it's like it's from your eyes, but it's also something like it's kind of like a gift to others.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about sending it into like a film festival, like a submission type thing?
I've only done like something like that once. I had actually at UCSD, I had an art exhibition.
Oh, okay.
So that happened this past January. It was nice, and it kind of like opened up the community here too. So
Yeah.
they actually got to see a lot of it too, because there's a big Somali community here. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
I actually have a podcast too.
You
So with
do?
my friends. So
Oh my gosh. What is it called?
it's called the No Name Nomad.
What do you guys talk about?
So again, kind of like the film, it's like a podcast version of like my mission statement. So it's like sharing stories of like the unheard of the community, like unheard stories of the community, and all the guests are kept anonymous. So they get to really just speak on what they want.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. How do you like get guests?
I just ask people, I'm like, do you want to be on my podcast? Like people who I've heard their stories before, I'm like, whoa, like this needs to be shared.
Yeah.
And they just kind of like, at least like I get their opinions on stuff. So they'll tell me like how their parents like raised them, how that kind of affected them, or just like what they think about certain opinions. And it's not always heavy. It's like pretty light, pretty lighthearted. And we just kind of dive into like anything they want to share. It's basically giving them a spotlight to share what they want to.
That's really cool.
It's like a project that took forever.
Really?
Just because San Diego is like very like the community, one thing is they really don't like a camera and mic in front of them.
Right.
So it's pretty, and that's honestly understandable. Like,
100%.
yeah. So it's just, I'm like, okay, but guys, hear me out. It's anonymous.
It's anonymous.
And then that's what gets them every time.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
bet.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay. You can answer this in however, you don't have to like think about like, you know, the generic way of this type of word, but what does education mean to you?
Okay. So off the top of my head, when I think of education, I definitely think liberating. So it's like, I think education holds power and meaning, and not just in like the generic like school. I mean education even in language, the way we speak to each other. For example, if we didn't speak the same language, there'd be like a barrier, and you wouldn't be aware of things that are going on. So it's like you're at a lack of knowledge, and it's like not because you're not smart, because there's like other layers and aspects to what it means to be knowledgeable. So it's like we have to communicate with each other. That's one. And I guess I would say education is just kind of liberating, because in all seriousness, it's like it's something that not everybody can get. So it's something that we should like take advantage of as much as we can.
Yeah. It's definitely something that we are, you know, grateful and blessed to have, and we kind of have to take it in full swing, because we know that there's a lot of people that don't get the opportunity to study, and like you know, you moved here to study, so that's like such a wonderful gift. Do you feel like that is something that can be taught in schools, like the ability to like, what's the word, I guess maybe I'm gonna ask a different question. Do you feel like there's something that is not taught in schools that you feel like should be kind of more emphasized?
I think I would say something that's not taught too much in school that should be emphasized. I think real life experiences, and just kind of like, because I feel like students have to decipher like what is actually important here, and what am I going to take from here? Am I actually really going to need this in the long term? So I think one thing that should really be implemented is real life skills, just so we don't send like a bunch of students out in the world who just have to find their footing the hard way. And I feel like some schools, I think, do like prepare students well enough. For example, like I don't know how to do my taxes. Like, I rely on my dad.
Same. To this day.
It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do in 1 to 2 years. So I'm just like, I don't know how to do my taxes. Just a lot of things I feel like when I moved out on my own, I was just thrown into it. I didn't even know you had to register your car. Like, things you learn every day, I guess.
The little things that like we need our parents for. Like that really needs to be taught. I just don't know, like, that in itself, like you know, last year of like senior year class, like prepare yourself for life. Like that needs to be a
that needs
course.
to just like 101 get ready because life is gonna hit you.
Did you have a hard time transitioning into college?
Yeah, I would say I went to community, so the blow wasn't as bad.
Right.
Yeah, so I feel like I had a softer cushion because I kind of already went to community for about 3 years prior.
Okay.
But it was still culture shock completely, just being on your own and just moving out and kind of relying on a new community that you have to make yourself. I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to make that community, and just putting so much emphasis on something really, it just really stressed me out. And I think being a new student in a new city, in a new environment, there's bound to be a lot of like ups and downs and a lot of mistakes that I feel like I made. But I guess the only like sort of comfort that comes from that is that like at least I could look back at the mistakes and try to implement something new in like my day-to-day.
I always say like every lesson, is good or bad, is something that you kind of need to you take and you go with. And I always look at them and as like, okay, even if it was something that happened that was bad, I'm still gonna take it as a good thing, you know. I'm still gonna I'm still gonna try and learn from it.
100%. I do believe, like all mistakes, there's something to be learned from there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
perfect.
I agree.
Okay, tell me about someone who's left an impact on you and why.
Oh, okay. Left an impact. Let's see. I think, you know, it's pretty like, I feel like it's such a common, like everyone might say this, but I think my mom, but my mom actually did leave though. So my mom lives in Africa right now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she actually retired and left, and she lives in Somalia. So, but when she left, it was so funny. She handed me her old transcript and said, "Listen, like, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. This is how far I came. This is how I did it. Not everything was perfect. I'm not gonna expect you to be perfect." She showed me her old transcript and said, the days I feel like you need to be perfect, just look at my mistakes and just know that it's gonna be okay at the end of the day. Like, things move. Like, basically she told me in Somali, like, dabarka hero, like, just wear your back is the saying. Like, just wear your back, like, tie it and just keep walking.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you can you explain what do you mean by transcript?
Like her class courses. So she just handed me, like, because she went to Cal Poly, not too far from here. And she was like telling, because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself on school just because I'm the oldest. I never want my siblings to really worry too much, like where, like what they need to do, like direction in life. So I feel like I made the hard decision of just trying to do something more concrete so that they can like do what they want to do. And I think my mom might have seen that I was putting too much pressure on myself. And like before she left, she just said, not everyone is perfect. These are some of the mistakes that I made. Obviously, like my grades weren't perfect, and just take it one day at a time. And if you get like a few bad grades along the way, it is what it is.
Yeah. That's amazing. Do you like get to talk to her a lot, or?
Yeah, it's a lot it's over the phone. I saw her recently this past summer because she came back for a little bit. And it was nice. It was kind of like full circle moments, just because like she would be asking me like, how did this go or this go, and I'm like, yeah, like things are better. So I feel like she really did warp my mentality a lot, where it's like my stress like levels are a lot lower because, you know, she really implements a lot of like worry about your physical health, your spiritual health, your mental health. And coming from my background, it is not common for a parent to say that at all.
Really?
Like at all. So like a lot of times they don't even like touch on mental health. They don't know much about it. And if you like say anything like I'm sad, or they'll be like, why? You have a food in the fridge, you have a bed. Like it's just, and it's not even their fault, because it's like their response to trauma. Like all they know is like post-war. And they're just not used to like the idea of like complaining in that aspect. So I would say having a mom, a parental figure, more like telling you like you need to focus on your physical health. Like she bought my first gym membership. And she really put an emphasis on like take care of yourself first. She would help with just like so many aspects. Like I even to this day, like things that I tell myself or stuff that she told me. So I'll be like, I can do this. Like affirmations, like I can do this. Like she just like told me like, yeah, she taught me a lot, I would say.
Do you think that's because she like grew up here, or like, and she learned those kinds of lessons? Because I'm this like my family is the same way. Like, you know, mental health is like something that's like, if we can't see it, then it's not a problem. You know, like that's just like a Middle Eastern like a mentality. But I do see like some of my parents' friends who grew up here, not like mine. My parents like are from like back home. Their mentality is a little different. They're like your mom. Do you think that's because like, did she grow up here, or is it something like?
She grew up here for the most part, like in terms of like high school, college. So I would say maybe that's what it is. But then my dad is like the same. He came even before her. He's like the opposite.
Oh, really?
So that's why I'm like, you know, I think it really takes someone who has like a little bit of I don't know. I think my mom, she just like would look around her and she's just very aware. So it might have to do a lot with the fact that she grew up here. But I see my dad and I feel like he chose to be fob. Like he chose that lifestyle because he's the type to be like, why are you sad? There's food, there's a bed. Like but again, I can't blame him because, you know, as you probably know, like back home there's a lot of like stereotypical gender roles. So like as a man, he probably isn't really in tune with his feelings anyway, so he can't really like talk to me about things, or I can't talk to him because it's just like that gap because of like men are not supposed to like show, you know, that's how it is like over there.
Has it been harder, no, like being just with your dad and not having your mom around all the time with that kind of stuff?
Yes, I feel like I've found myself more quiet and like more like to myself, and it's very hard to open up to people now because I'm slowly like reverting to kind of like his ideas of like, oh, feelings should just be bottled up, or if we do talk, it's just very like hi, bye, hi, you know. It's very, I feel like that's a very like dad type of thing, but yeah, I started like recently just having a lot of like kind of I put myself in their shoes because I realized it's like kids raising kids because they also had me young, so I never like get really upset at how anything goes down because I realized that it was kids just raising kids. So, and I'm the first one too, so I was like the experimental child.
You have siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 younger sisters.
Oh, okay. Do you try to like kind of instill what your mom taught you into them, or do you think that's like kind of hard now that you feel like you're kind of reverting back?
I think they, surprisingly, I feel like even though I'm the oldest, they're very mature. So it's almost like we all lean on each other, but they don't need as much as leaning. It's they're very strong, so I can see them being very in tune, especially my youngest sister, the one in the middle. She's like emotionally very aware, so she kind of like checks all of us in a way.
That's beautiful. I love that. Okay, is there a cause or social issue that you're passionate about, and why is it important to you?
Okay, I think I would say a lot of like the immigration like issues I would say I'm passionate about. So there's actually a nonprofit in San Diego for like it's called UAE, or actually might have to scrap that, but it's called United Nations East African Women. So they deal with like a lot in the community. They really uplift the community, and learning through them kind of like what needs to get done in terms of just kind of in terms of like the issues that's going on right now, because there'll be a lot of people that come but then they have no means of like supporting themselves, and then it just goes to going back to like why did they need to come, because like there's so much going on and it's a lot of like external like countries just kind of like you know dealing with things. And at the moment there's a lot going on in Sudan, there's a lot going on in Somalia, even in Ethiopia there's a lot of internal fighting. So it's like I'm pretty passionate about it because like I want to be able to return back to the land where I'm from without worrying about just like worrying about ethnic fighting or ethnic cleansing, or even like, you know, the buildings. I still want them to be there. It just feels like there's a lot of there's just like a lot of the countries are just never gonna be the same, and it's really upsetting. So I'm pretty passionate about that.
Yeah. Do you like volunteer for that nonprofit or?
Yeah, so I go to the space. I haven't gone back since I came back to San Diego
Mm-hmm.
for this semester, but the last year I would go often, and I would just try to like lend a hand. I was like part of some of the fellowships. Um, I just kind of like learned a lot through them, and for me, like when I go back personally, like I try to bring things back. So I'll
Oh,
bring things like for like menstrual like products. I'll
yeah.
try to bring clothing. Like when my mom came this summer, me and her were sifting through like clothes and trying to
Wow.
bring stuff for people
Yeah.
like because my sisters like even when they go back they are amongst people that look exactly like them, but a lot of those people don't have like just like sometimes they don't have like proper clothing, and it's just kind
Right.
of sad.
Yeah.
So and they go to the same school, like they would go to the same school with them, and it's just kind of like upsetting where they see their classmates and then they're just like it's sad.
Yeah.
So my mom took a lot of clothes with her like this summer,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like she's gonna like be giving them out and just kind of
Oh,
helping the community.
that's so beautiful. I'm honestly, it sucks that those things happen and it
Yeah,
affects you even from being so far. It's just like like that's your people, like that even if you don't
yeah,
even know them, like that's still
yeah,
your like at the end of the day that's family,
yeah,
like that's your roots, and it's heartbreaking, but all we can do is like hope for the
yeah.
best and hope that like our future generations like kind of instill new policy reforms and
Hmm.
things like that. Did you ever think about going into law to kind of help that?
Honestly, I noticed that things get kind of slippery. So
Yeah.
with politics, it's very hard to like stay on that path because there's gonna be a lot of like different things. I have some friends, so hopefully, like, when they pursue that, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like, let me know if you need help. But I kind of just thought of something like, what can I do right now?
Yeah.
So it's like getting funding from the government and like building things, and I feel like that could be helpful, even though it's like it might be a lot of like volunteer work and a lot of like the pay might not be as good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really something that I'm like too concerned of.
Yeah.
If it's like something that I'm gonna be doing on the side, trying to help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. If it makes your heart happy, then the wallet doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
All right. This kind of if you feel like you're kind of already answered this, we can move on. But it's what advice would you give someone trying to make a positive impact on their community?
Okay. Um, so some advice I would give is, oh, this is so corny, but I was just gonna say like just do it.
Right.
I think the first step is just starting, and it might be kind of nerve-wracking, but I remember when I started like my like project and the Instagram and everything, it was just a matter of like just starting it and making the social media
Yeah.
platform and spreading the word, and it's you don't really necessarily need to have a plan. So I think that's the nerve-wracking part. A lot of people kind of just like stop because they're like, what am I doing?
Right.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Just like cancel all that noise,
Yeah.
focus, tunnel vision, and just like get it started,
Yeah.
and the rest falls from there,
Mm-hmm.
like
Well,
falls in place.
yeah, for sure. Also, cancel the noise of like people that are like, "Are you sure? Like that seems
Yeah,
hard. This and that." It's like,
yeah,
I honestly catch myself struggling when someone like interjects into like something that I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. But then I have to
yeah.
like revert and be like, wait, this is my
Like
idea. I need to
exactly,
show it. I pull it through.
exactly.
Yeah,
I'll also say, I guess one thing is I try not to tell too many people at the beginning
that.
stages. I really believe in like evil eye,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like not even just evil eye, like anytime you tell somebody, like I just believe in like that energy where it's like someone
Yeah.
could really just like be just putting that bad energy.
Mm-hmm.
So my advice is at the beginning stages, just keep it to yourself
Keep it to
and
yourself.
in the zone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Because it really is, at the end of the day, it's your project and your
yeah,
project alone. So
yeah,
until it's finished, no one needs to know about it.
yeah.
Let's see. Okay, what is a challenge that you've had to work through, and how do you feel like it shaped you to who you are today?
Mm, okay, I think a challenge that I had to work through was when I moved here, because it wasn't exactly like, oh, Hidaya, go ahead, move to San Diego, go ahead and just start paying for rent.
Right.
It was very much like I had to fight to come here. And that obviously left like a little like rocky spot with me and my dad, because it's just like he did not want me coming here, and it's a lot of like traditional things. It's not very common to have like a girl who's just not married to just move out. And you don't need to be married, like that's not exactly the culture, but it's just like for him at least, it's like he wanted to just have some sort of sense of security that okay, like she's okay, and he wanted me to stay at home. So it's not, yeah, it's just not common for like a girl. A lot of times, sometimes even for guys, they don't want them to move out because you know they're kind of reckless too. So it's like I think he was afraid of like what the community would say, and just like, oh wow, you really let your girl alone move out. So it was a lot of like push and pull. And I remember like even in Ethiopia, like I was like walking back and forth, like pacing. First time I ever paced in my life. I never done that, and I was just so deep in thought, thinking, what am I doing? Like, how can I, a little kid, because I be thinking I'm a kid sometimes. I'm just like, move by myself without any funding, just no money, just go to San Diego State, like just move out. And I was like panicking. I was having a lot of anxiety, and I just did, like, I put everything in a suitcase, I put everything in my car, I shipped it. And like my dad still wasn't back yet, so I was in America by myself. And I remember like my cousin File, she helped me pack everything in my whole house, and yeah, like just put everything in my car, shipped it, took a flight, and I was gone. And then since then, the things that it taught me was like I had to budget. I never used the B word before. I never had to do that before.
One, I know, it's like, should I get that coffee? Wait, no, it's $7. I can make it at home.
I couldn't get iced coffees anymore. I couldn't get my matchas anymore. It was Sephora. I would just pass by it. I'd be like, oh.
The essence, like you smell it. You're like, okay, that's enough.
A little free, spray myself.
Oh, it's rough. Yeah, especially San Diego. It's really expensive to live here. It's so expensive. And on your own. Do you live with roommates?
I live with like 4 other roommates, and they're very nice. So luckily they made that experience not too bad. Yeah. So yeah, it's expensive here, and it's just getting more expensive.
100%.
So yeah, I would say that really, like, I really learned how to just like handle myself. And I think I'm like, I could say I'm more of an adult now.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's also like very courageous of you to be able to, like, you know, I'm gonna move alone to another city. You are from the Bay, right?
Yeah.
It's like kind of similar, but not really at all.
Yeah.
And you're alone. Like, that's so courageous. And I think that like that takes like another type of human to be able to do that.
I appreciate that.
And I really like applaud you for that, because I don't think I would ever be able to do that. Like, that's something like I know in my head I'm not strong enough for that. And to know that totally people of like your age are also are like that, it's very reassuring, because I think like you guys are, I always say this, like, you guys are the next generation, and I think it gives me like a lot of hope for like, you know, who's going to be running the world in 10 to 15 years. So I hope that the transition has eased.
Yeah, it's been better this year. It's a lot better this year, especially. But I'm telling you right now, like, even though you're saying like you don't think, there's a lot of inner strength that you don't even know that's there.
Did you feel like you had to kind of channel that, or do you feel like it was always there but you just kind of like suppressed it?
You know, it's funny enough, I think human beings just have survival mode. Like, it's something that just unlocks, like, you need to survive, like you will do by any means necessary. So I found myself like first semester having 4 jobs while taking classes, and I was so tired every single day. And like I remember just knocking out, like losing consciousness, like on my pillow. But it's like I look back at that, and that made me who I am. So it's like little things like that. It's like, if you need to survive, I've realized that human beings, like, they'll just land on their feet.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just something that we do.
That's really like a unique way to think about it, because it is true, honestly. Like we evolution has taught us that is the way. But do you still work 4 jobs?
No, thank God I don't. Yeah, no, we're back to the one. Thank God.
We're back to the one. What do you do?
So on campus, I'm an AV tech. So it's a lot of this, actually. Okay. So I'm looking around. I'm like, it's kind of familiar.
I know that brand. I know this.
It's like I know what the setup is looking like, you know. But yeah, so I'm an AV tech on my campus, and I was working just in the summer, and then I kind of stopped now.
Okay.
For in the Bay, I had like an internship.
Nice.
And then now I'm back to like AV tech.
Nice. Well, the good thing about civil engineering is when you're out of the game, you're making 10K, like 6 figures minimum. So you're, you know, just fingers crossed, hang in there. You got like what, 1, 2 more years?
2 years, yeah.
Okay, we can do that. We can do that.
It's like struggling so much till then, but we'll figure it out.
But but you gotta think like the reward, so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Let's see. This is gonna be the last question. Then the kind of last question is not really a question. But what do you think when you usually apply to scholarships, internships, whatnot? What do you feel like usually gets left out of a standard application that requires like essays and GPA requirements and stuff like that?
I think like a lot of things that get left out. Well, so my experience with like application is kind of messy just because on paper they're like, oh, if your financial aid looks like this, then you should be okay. But they just don't know like underlying things where it's like, how is your relationship with your parents? Like, are they funding you? Are they helping you? Like where are you right now? Like in terms of like, why do you like need assistance? And I think that might get taken out because, you know, I feel like a lot of students might have the grades or they might not have the grades, and it just kind of leaves them at like kind of in a sticky situation. Because I was overhearing like a student the other day saying, I went to financial aid and they were just not helpful at all. They were very quick, like, and they just like left me still confused. And I'm hearing like a lot of students say like financial aid isn't helping me. So it's hard to get aid at the school when there's so many students. And you know, the people at financial aid office, they're humans too. Like they see so many people and they probably just warp everybody like, oh, you got a problem next. And like so I can imagine, because they're students too, a lot of the workers. So I think it's just a lot of like you lose that one-on-one. Like this is something I've never had before, where someone actually like hears me out in this way. You lose a lot of that genuine, like, why do you need help? And you just become like an application. So it's like one thing I think everyone is like, not everyone, every like application might be missing is I would say maybe implementing like a video like aspect of it, because you really get to see that person and they're not just a name on a paper. It's like you can see by their face, because we'll have like a connection like face to face, and it's like you can see that person's like where they are in life a little bit. Just there's like a lot of things you can read off of someone's face, and if you get that kind of like video aspect, I think that might help kind of like help the desensitized aspect of it.
100%. Do you have anything else you want to share?
I guess I'd just like thank you for the opportunity. It was a good experience. Like nonetheless, it's a good experience.
Well, thank you so much for coming. It was amazing meeting you, and I hope that you do amazing things in your future.
Thank you.
Hey YouTube, if you enjoyed this person's story, don't forget to subscribe below to hear more from our inspiring youth. If you want to apply for our Storyteller Scholarship or get more involved in our organization, click the link below to apply. Thanks for watching!